Okay, everyone. So, after this dynamic styling, it is time to talk about another very interesting feature of Angular, and that is called working with services. Look, everybody, we always know that components are the one who which are purely designed for offering you some data, so that template can make it visible to you. So TS is the one which is a class which offers the data and the template which displays this. But in reality, it doesn't happen because your data contains some more complex data which TS perhaps cannot hold it, and the reusability becomes zero because what in case of the same data wants to be used by another component. Like you can see, this TS contains some array which I'm hard coding it. What if some other components needs the same? That's a challenge. So to fix this issue, we have got another concept available here, and that is called working with services. So the idea behind the service is like this. Like if you can see this example, we have a call header and footer. So what happens now? The data will be actually available where? In a database. Okay. But to interact with the database, you may be certainly having some REST APIs. You may be having some REST APIs which will be interacting with what? With your database and get you some real data. But these are REST APIs written in Java, .NET or PHP. This is my application which is written in Angular. So I will be using one concept here known as called what? A service. This service, I will say, this is a service which will be holding the common set of business logic, and then it will interact with what? With your REST API. And these components like header and footer or whosoever needs the data under where this service will be injected. So to provide the common source of data which contains in a database, and hence reusability can be improved. So to make it possible, what I'll do is under my shared folder, under my app, I'm going to create a new folder, new called shared, and under this I'm going to create a new file with a name called user data dot service dot ts, and under the service ts I'm saying export class user data. Now this service class will be injectable, that I can get access to the other components. So I'm using injectable. So after adding this injectable, we can provide a new function name called load users, which is returning you the array of string. So I can say return, and it returns me the array of string. So what I'll be doing now, I can say return here admin QA. Think about, I'm just starting with a very simple example. Admin manager in QA. Now if I would like to use this in my code, so this user data.service.ts, I would like to inject it any of my components. Suppose if I want to inject it in my main app. So in my main app, what I'll be doing now, but before you make this service accessible to others, make sure this service is injected under your app module under the provider section, because this is where exactly the services are declared. User data, you can see the user data came here, and in my main component I'll create a one constructor, and inside this constructor we will provide the service by saying private ud of type user data. Now the service is available. Okay, now once the service is available, what I can do is I can declare one variable here called udata. It's just like a local variable of type. You can create it as a type of array. Okay, you can say any of type array. So I'm saying, user data or u data. Okay, this dot u data equal to ud dot load users. That means this u data is an array which is pointing it to the function name called load users, which in turn returns to the array. And this u data, I'll be utilizing it in my code by saying yeah, so you can give the name called service data. In this service data, you can get it accessible here. So what you can say now here you can use ul. Under this you are using li, and inside this li you will be saying star ng for equal to let what is an array name u data. You can say let ud of u data, and inside this you will be providing ud. That's it. Let's check this out. You can see the data is available. Just to make it more simple, I would like to comment all these 3 lines. And now you can see the data is coming up properly from my service. And that is the benefit, because this particular service, whichever you have created, you are actually making it accessible to all the components. So whichever components needs this particular service, they will just inject it under this constructor and get the job done. So this is just a plain service which we have created just to tell you how the reusability you can enforce it in your application. But yes, you can use more details in services. Like it is just like an unstructured data, you can create a more structured data. So just imagine I'm creating one new class here under my shared. I'm going to give the name called product dot ts, and this product dot ts, as it is not a service, not a component, just like in TypeScript class. So we are saying export class product. Okay, and with this product I can create a new constructor. Remember, in TypeScript the constructor names are not same as like in class name, typically in a C++ in Java. So in C++ and Java, constructor names are the same name as like in your class name, but here it is not like this. And you can also not overload the constructor in a TypeScript here. So I'm providing some properties like in what username, email, and city. So you can give the product name or you can give the user details, whatever. So what I can do, I can rename it to users.ts users, and here in my I can define some properties here. I can say uname of type string. Okay, because this is a class, so I'm providing those properties here. So after this we can say email of type again string, where this is an error. They say users.uname string, they say has no initializer, so you can ignore it for a time being. Okay, so they say you should define like this, but leave it. You can just declare it the way you want to. So email, and that is called what, city, once again is a type of a string. So if you do not want to get this kind of complicated errors, you can just go to your tsconfig.json, and here the strict you can change to false. So the strict type of errors is not valid into the code. You can see now they're all gone. So in my constructor you can certainly use the same properties I have given. I copy the same, okay, let me put it in the same line. and here you can say dot equal to city. So a simple object is available to me. Now in my service, if I go to my user data.service, in my service what we have called user data. Okay, so I can create a function. So I'm already having called load users here. So this load users, rather than using this string type, it will be returning you what of type of users. Okay, so that it is. So I'm removing this return keyword and I'm saying a proper properties here, the one which you want to define it. So first load users is returning you what the array of users, but in case if you do not want, we can just give like this, and here we can say let users, okay, type of users like this. So this is how the variable you can define it. Okay, so function, under this function it is better I can define those. So this is the way I can define, and certainly after this I can create a new properties like in what users equal to, so here new of users, and provide a property like in, I use constructor here, name, email and city. So admin like you can see the object is created. Okay, I put a comma sign at the end, admin manager so total number of 3 records that I'm having it, I'm saying return users. So this is the array for me, so let me format it, and since I want to display those arrays in my main app component.ts, so you need to define this as an injector service, and which you can later on use it the way you want it. So here if you remember we were using user data colon any, now here we can define users of type users. Okay, a typical variable which you're defining it like this. Okay, now post this, once it is ready you have to define the service which you have anyways injected here. Okay, so now let's see how you're going to be utilizing this. So I'm having this constructor, under this data is visible, so it's saying missing of that type, so that is perfectly fine. I'm defining this users of this, and yes, I want to load this, so I can say this dot users equal to this dot ud dot load users. And it will be having 3 properties like in what uname, email and city. So certainly they're trying to say some properties are undefined. So as of now it is okay, because we are trying to call those functions, the one which we want to utilize in my code. Okay, so users is a type of users here, and this dot users equal to load users, because that is what it is returning the array to you. And if you want to display those arrays, so you can define under this log and this dot users, you can show it initially. So there are some errors coming up. Let me try to restart my server and check. Meanwhile, the services are already injected here. Let's let it build. Okay, there are some errors which are there. They say like some properties are missing, because of that they're not able to get it, because main component dot HTML is using those records. So I'm trying to comment all those. But still it is saying this values they're not able to get it. So they say users is missing. Okay, so we have to provide this data of that type. So let's see how we can make it. You see what I did is I have removed the type of array of users, because anyways we are getting this users of type array. I just find as a normal users type, and you can see here I'm able to receive the records right over here with the 3 users. Now it's time for us to iterate all those in my browser and to check how we can show this to the end users. So it is not able to get it udata, because here in my main component.ts I'm using this users. You see, I'm getting this object because I'm supposed to show the properties like an ud dot properties, which I'm getting it. So in my service, if I just check, it is what uname, email and city. So I say uname. You see, I'm getting the uname now. Okay, like if I want to display email and city, so those details can be widely available to you. Okay, so that's how exactly you are using it. And this ud.name, again email city. You see, the details are shown to us. Quite interesting. Okay, so I'm sure that we are all clear and understood about the concept, like how the services can be injected and utilized as per the call. So the way I have loaded it, you can basically load it dynamically according to the use cases, or statically if you want, you can certainly do so. Okay, suppose if I want to click a button, and under those buttons if I want to load those records, so I can call this particular function of this main component.ts like load users. You can call it from another function and make it possible. So its choice is absolutely yours, how you want the dependencies to be get called, either by clicking on the button or else during the time of loading. Both options are very much valid to us.